Hello friends and welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. So in the last lecture we talked about a lot of things, especially related to IUCN. So in this video let's move forward from there and see some more important things, other organizations and the most important things about them. Alright, let's get along one by one. So IUCN initiatives in India, this is one important topic as a continuation of the last video. So Integrated Tiger Habitat Conservation Program, that is ITHCP. These all can be asked in the next year as well. So it focuses on conserving tiger habitats, addressing human-wildlife conflicts, etc. One is Mangroves for the Future (MFF) program. This is also IUCN's program. It's a part of the MFF initiative, which aims to promote the sustainable management of coastal ecosystem, etc. The Commission on Ecosystem Management, that is CEM. So IUCN CEM in India works towards the conservation and sustainable management of ecosystems. Moving forward, the second option was about UNEP. So the United Nations Environment Program. It's the leading global environment authority within the United Nations system. So when we talk about the UN, we must think of the UNEP, not IUCN. IUCN is not related to UN. It works with UN, but not related to the UN directly. It was established in 1972 and serves as a focal point for environment governance and sustainable development. The headquarters of the UNEP is in Nairobi, Kenya. So please remember this. It's in Kenya. Okay. Let's move forward. So UNEP is governed by the UN Environmental Assembly, that is UNEA, which is the highest level decision making body on environmental matters of the UN. Second thing is Global Environmental Outlook. This is the publication of UNEP. So it publishes the Global Environment Outlook report, which provides comprehensive assessment of the state of the global environment. So the complete global environment here we are talking about. Other thing is emission gap report. So UNEP publishes annual emission gap report. So it assesses the gap between countries' greenhouse gas emissions and the reductions needed to limit global warming to specific targets. So this one is very important and can be asked. Okay, one more thing is green economy reports. Just a second. So UNEP has produced several green economy reports as well. Okay, these reports provide insight into policy options, etc. There are frontier reports as well that focus on emerging environmental issues and their implications for sustainable development. One more thing is UNEP Live. So not very important to know about this, but it's an online platform that provides access to a wide range of environmental data, indicators and tools. Okay, so what is the relation of UNEP with India? So India National Cleaner Production Center and CPC. The center promotes cleaner production practices, resource efficiency and sustainable consumption and production patterns. One more thing is Partnership for Action on Green Economy, that is PAGE page. So please remember this PAGE page. This is Partnership for Action on Green Economy. So UNEP is part of the PAGE initiative in India, which aims to support the country's transition to green economy. One more thing is climate change mitigation and adaptation. So UNEP supports India indirectly in this thing. Okay, now when we talk about the UNWCED, so United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development is also known as the Brundtland Commission. The UNWCED was based in Geneva, Switzerland. One more thing we saw that in Gland, Switzerland, IUCN's headquarters. Its headquarters was in Geneva, Switzerland. So UNWCED was established in 1983 by the United Nations General Assembly, that is UNGA, to address global environmental and developmental change challenges. The commission was chaired by Gro Harlem Brundtland, the former Prime Minister of Norway. This is also why it was known as the Brundtland Commission. The most significant publication by the UNWCED is Our Common Future report. This is very important. Our Common Future report, commonly known as the Brundtland report, published in 1987. The report provided a comprehensive analysis of sustainable development and popularized the concept globally. So this is very important, you can say, and must be noted down. The Brundtland report defined sustainable development. This is again a very important definition when we talk about the environment. That what is sustainable development? So it is defined as development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. All right. So deals with future but without compromising the deals with present but without compromising the future. UNWCED completes its work with it completed, that means does not exist now, with the publication of Brundtland report and is disbanded as a specific organizational structure. Now, when we talk about the WWF, that is Worldwide Fund for Nature. It was formerly known as the World Wildlife Fund, is one of the world's largest and most influential conservation organizations. So this is also very important. So WWF was founded in 1961 and operates in over 100 countries. It works to conserve biodiversity, promote sustainable development, and addresses environmental challenges worldwide. The mission of the WWF's mission is to stop the degeneration or degradation of the plant's natural environment and to build a future where humans live in harmony with nature. So these organizations have different goals, please remember. And the goals must be noted down in a table when you read about these organizations. Here the organization and here the goal. Alright, these goals are similar but not the same. That is the difference between them. Okay. So let's talk about the conservation focus of the WWF. So WWF focuses on several key areas. This is the important point here, because when we talk about the wildlife or nature, we may think that it only focuses on the fauna. But the reality is it focuses on biodiversity as well as sustainable development, climate change, forest, oceans, freshwater ecosystems, and wildlife protection. Priority species and habitat. So WWF works to protect and conserve endangered species and their habitats. It focuses on flagship species such as tigers, elephants, pandas, whales, and turtles, as well as critical ecosystems like forest, coral reefs, and river basins. Coral reefs are very important ecosystems. Conservation strategies. So there are many strategies from the WWF. So there is scientific research, advocacy, community engagement, etc. Alright. Further talking about the publications, what are the important publications of the WWF? Please always remember the important publications whenever you are reading about organizations. What happens sometimes that we see a lot of organizations and we think that how many of the publications we will be able to remember. So even if you remember, let's say 4 major organizations and their publications, then you will be able to eliminate at least. You will be knowing that this option or this statement is incorrect because it does not come into these organizations at least. So it will benefit you a lot even if you remember just 4 organizations, 5 organizations and their publications. Okay. Let us now talk about the publications. So Living Planet Report. This is one of the flagship publications of the WWF. So its biennial report provides an assessment of the state of the planet's ecosystem, biodiversity, and human impacts. It highlights trends, threats, and opportunities for conservation. Other thing is Global Forest and Trade Network, GFTN. So WWF's GFTN program works with the businesses to promote responsible forest management and eliminate illegal logging. What is logging? It's basically falling of the trees for the logwood. Logs are these. The trunk of trees which are felled. Okay, not such a good diagram, but I hope you have understood what I mean with this. Alright, so this report provides insight into sustainable forestry practices and market trends. Forestry practices are again very important for UPSC. There are various different type of forestry practices and they can be asked in prelims especially. Okay. This time also one related question came, not direct, that large field small farmer, what does this indicate in an economic sense? All right. One more thing is species reports. So WWF publishes reports on various endangered species, highlighting their conservation status, etc. Sustainable development reports, so very common reports, they will not be asked. This is important, water risk filters. So WWF Water Risk Filters is an online tool that helps businesses and organizations assess water-related risk and develop a strategy for water stewardship. All right, let's move forward. That what we should be reading for the 2024. Just a second. So till now we have been able to conclude that the questions often come either from the organizations directly, such as their headquarter, year of establishment, or their objective or functions, or it come from their publications. So these are only the 4 things from your questions have come. So please read these. I have made a summary table here with some organizations. So we'll be seeing them one by one. So the one thing is, they may or may not be organizations. They can be program also. So Global Environmental Facility, that is GEF. So year of establishment was 1991. Headquarters are in Washington DC, USA. And notable publications are GEF annual reports, GEF impact stories, and evaluation office reports. So this we have talked about the GEF, that is Global Environmental Facility. Again, 1991, Washington DC, USA. All right. Let's move further. One is this Green Climate Fund, GCF, very important. And it was established recently in 2010. The headquarters are in South Korea, Incheon. Notable publications are Green Climate Fund Result Report, Green Climate Fund Annual Performance Report. So reports have GCF attached in them. So question won't be asked from here. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC, very, very important. IPCC 1988. Always remember like this. IPCC 88. You will remember it like this. Just a second, I'll make the diagram. IPCC 88. All right. Just a small trick, you can say. So headquarters are in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, you can tell me where else we saw the Geneva, Switzerland today. Notable publications are IPCC assessment reports, special report on specific climate change topics, and synthesis report. So one of these reports were in news, IPCC report. Last year it was in news, 2022. So please read about this topic. IUCN, we'll just revise it from here. So year of establishment was 1948. So rather early, you can say after the WW2. Headquarters are in Gland, Switzerland. Notable publications are IUCN Red List. This is very, very important. World Heritage Outlook, State of the World's Forest. So we have already seen these all. And Invasive Species Database. United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. We have already seen this. We'll just revise. So year of establishment was 1972. Okay, headquarters are Nairobi, Kenya. And notable publications are GEO, that is Global Environmental Outlook. This is the flagship publication of this organization. Emission Gap Report, this is also one of the flagship publications, and Green Economy Report. Please remember all three. These are very, very important and must be noted, in my personal opinion. All right. In further, we can talk about the World Food Program. Year of establishment was 1961. The headquarters are in Rome, Italy. Notable publications are State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, World Food Program Annual Reports, Hunger Map. Hunger Map is very important from here. This is not from FAO. This is from WFP, World Food Program. Okay. One more thing is International Whaling Commission, that is IWC. So year of establishment was in 1946. Headquarters are in Cambridge, United Kingdom. Notable publications are IWC annual reports, scientific committee reports, conservation management plans, etc. All right, so this is not very important, the whaling one. Just remember the WFP, please. It was established in 1961. One more important one is BirdLife International. Establishment was 1922, so this was rather early. Headquarters are in Cambridge, United Kingdom. Notable publications are State of the World's Birds, BirdLife International Annual Review, and Bird Conservation International Journal. All right, so in our conclusion, that what we should read about 2024 from here, the organizations, or in the view of global organizations rather, not the Indian. So IUCN, UNEP, FAO, WFP. There are other programs which I have already mentioned, IPCC, Global Environment Facility, CEM, etc. As well as their publications, year of establishment, headquarters, most of them I have told you. And when we talk about the Indians, let's say organizations or the acts, we must talk about the acts. And the organizations, we must talk about the tribunals or bodies. So that will benefit us a lot. Okay, let us see one more question from the environment only. So there was one more question from the environment in the prelims 2023 only. So as this question is not so much important, but we should cover it. It was rather a random question, let's say, but more based on the general observation. Now I'm not propounding the fact or the premise that UPSC is delving now in the theories of general observation which people must experience around themselves of what they see and not rely on the books for knowledge anymore. But this was such an example where they asked about the squirrels. So squirrel is a very common animal which we all see and might have seen in our daily lives, usually around a tree. So the question asked us that regarding the Indian squirrels, and it asked about specifically about Indian squirrels, not about the global squirrel species. Okay, that they build nests by making burrows in the ground. So, all right, so burrows in the ground. So one more thing that we see very commonly, okay, let me just answer it later. First option was that burrows in the ground. Okay, second option was that they that they store their food material like nuts and seeds in the ground. Nuts and seeds in the ground. Third thing was that they are omnivorous. Okay, so these were the three statements about the Indian squirrels. So let us see them one by one. So squirrels are in fact an arboreal species. That means they live on trees and they have no as such relation with the ground. Alright, so they don't create any burrows in the ground. They are rather abhorrent to the ground. They have evolved themselves to be arboreal. That means to live on trees, because the natural predators of the squirrel, such as snakes, make burrows in the ground. So they are not likely to encounter squirrels so easily because they are arboreal. So they live in the nests on the tree itself. So this is a common observation. Okay, the second option, which was that they store their food materials like nuts and seeds in the ground. So when we talk about the nuts and seeds, these are the common nuts which fall on the ground. But as a common fact, they often pick up these seeds and store them in their nests. And this is a common behavior displayed by the foreign squirrels, not Indian squirrels. Sometimes it has been seen that the nuts and seeds are put into the ground later to be dug later. Let's say in winters. But as India does not encounter such winters where the squirrels or other animals need to store their food in ground, so this behavior is not observed in the Indian squirrels. This is also a common observation. Third thing is they are omnivorous. So it's also one common observation that all the small, let's say, animals, even if we are talking about the squirrels, they are omnivorous. They do not exclusively feed on the plants. Sometimes they eat insects as well. All right. So this was one question which was very random. That's why I've covered this in this video itself, so that we don't have to make a separate video for this question. There are other few questions from environment which are more interesting and more knowledgeable, which require more knowledge to solve them, and they are not so random. So this was about today's video. I hope you know the answer to both of the questions which we were discussing. First answer was IUCN, and second was that only this is correct, that they build a nest, that they are omnivorous. So only one statement is correct in this second question. So this was about today's lecture. I'll see you in the next lecture with few more questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day and keep studying.